It's super horror, bro. The 10 most anticipated horror games for 2026. We obviously know Resident Evil Requiem. We obviously know Poppy Playtime. And I think there's other things that I'm missing. There's Reanimal. There's quite a few. So we're going to press play and see what shows up on this list.
Mike here,
I want to check some of these out before we
in
get
today's
going
video,
today.
we take a look at the year ahead for horror games, and more specifically, the 10 horror titles I'm most anticipating. Several of the games on this rundown will be receiving full playthroughs and lore-based content, such as
Jenny.
Story
Welcome.
Explained and Monsters Explained videos.
Minecraft is tomorrow. And I have downloaded shaders, and it makes it really scary. So I'm looking forward to that. We haven't done much outside of that, though.
So let's begin
What's up,
as we
Welcome.
take a look at 10 of my most anticipated horror games for 2026.
Dark Deception Chapter 5. What? We have to play Dark Deception, don't we?
Dark Deception is a maze-based horror game inspired by retro arcade classic Pac-Man.
What the?
We assume the role of protagonist Doug Hauser, who has been damned to the circles of hell, where he must work with a mysterious woman named Beers,
I feel
who
like I'm
sends him into
myself. I feel like I'm going to spoil myself with this. We're going to skip ahead of Dark Deception. That's okay. We're going to go to Bendy the Cage. I don't want to spoil myself for that one somehow, some way. There's just a possibility.
For a long time, it seems like Bendy the Cage, a spin-off from mainline entries Bendy and the Ink Machine and Bendy and the Dark Revival.
If Bendy the Cage does not, if they don't learn from the combat system, the poor combat system of the last couple games, it's going to be a nightmare to get through. I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
Had been cancelled.
I'm hoping.
However, just a few months ago, we received a brand new trailer, revealing that the game had undergone some major changes during its development and is now slated for release in 2026. The Cage does away with the usual first-person perspective synonymous with this rubber hose horror series to date, swapping it out for a Dead Space-inspired third-person viewpoint instead.
I kind of like that.
It also promises a much darker, more gruesome, and mature take on the franchise, as we step into the shoes of series' favourite character, Henry Stein, wielding an axe against all manner of cartoon nightmares in the depths of Joey Drew Studios.
But are the mechanics going to be good?
And parries.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear everybody celebrate?
Of Joey Drew Studios. Combat will feature blocks and parries, seemingly inspired by games like Dark Souls. As a fan of the Bendy franchise, I personally can't wait to see how this mature horror-focused take on the world plays out.
Hell yeah. You can block, chat. Hellraiser Revival. I've never played any Hellraiser games. This could be
One
the
of
first.
my favorite horror franchises is Clive Barker's Hellraiser. While there haven't been many video games in the Hellraiser series, outside of a guest appearance from antagonist Pinhead in Dead by Daylight, that's about to change with the release of Hellraiser Revival later this year. We play as Aiden, a troubled delinquent who must enter the gates of hell to help his girlfriend Sunny escape Pinhead's labyrinth, where she is being held captive by a demonic race known as the Cenobites. In the Earth realm, Aiden must solve the puzzle of a box, all while being pursued by a horrific cult who are devoted to
Was it fucking Assassin's Creed? What the hell is that?
Box, all while being pursued by a horrific.
Damn! I don't know anything about Hellraiser. Hellraiser is so unbelievably popular. I know of the character's existence. The only interaction I've ever had, literally, is through Dead by Daylight. But I've never seen a movie. I've never watched anything else other than that. I didn't care for the movie too much, but I like the story a lot. It seems like an interesting character, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know his backstory or anything. But this gameplay seems hype? Hype? Dare I say hype?
Cult who are devoted to serving the Cenobites. Hellraiser Revival is certainly not a YouTube-friendly game, featuring copious amounts of highly mature content and subject matter. So it's unlikely I'll cover it here on the channel, but it's absolutely one of my most anticipated horror games for the upcoming year.
What? Terrible Lizards. Anybody heard of this? What? What is this?
Ever wondered what you'd get if a developer crossed the parkour gameplay of Mirror's Edge with the mascot horror theming of Five Nights at Freddy's? In Terrible Lizards, we run, jump and wall run through an abandoned dinosaur theme park known as Dalton's Dinos.
It's Finding Frankie, but with dinosaurs.
All while being ruthlessly hunted by some seriously creepy looking humanoid reptiles in search of a missing child.
What
the story is drip fed to the player along the way.
Just in case you guys didn't see this. That's badass. Holy shit.
Missing child. The
I'm
story
scared.
is
You
drip
should be.
fed to the player along the way
You
via
should be
VHS
scared.
tapes, audio logs, and notes, revealing the chilling backstory that befell the employees of this once famous attraction before everything went to hell. Guided by a mysterious voice on the phone, we must save the missing child and survive the dinosaur threats lurking around every corner.
Gross. Gross. Reanimal. Oh, we're playing. February is going to be an insane month.
Tarsier Studios, the
Reanimal's
team
gonna be
responsible for Little Nightmares 1 and 2, did not develop last year's third entry. Instead, they have been hard at work on a brand new IP, one that takes some obvious inspiration from their previous creation. Reanimal is a darker, more oppressive, and gruesome take on the Little Nightmares formula.
It's so
The game
gross.
is fully playable in 2-player co-op, as each player assumes the role of a brother and sister, desperately trying to survive an apocalyptic world full of mutated and reanimated animal and humanoid monsters.
Should I try and find somebody to play this with me? It's a co-op game. I imagine it'd be a lot better than Little Nightmares 3. Would you guys prefer I just play it on my own or try and find like a content creator to play this with me? Think about it.
Along the way, the child's siblings must attempt to rescue their friends, other kids who find themselves lost within the ruins of this terrifying world.
It's a massive
The monster
world.
designs look absolutely horrifying, and the game's visuals and soundtrack create a truly creepy vibe that seems perfectly geared towards fans of the Little Nightmares franchise. Reanimal is one of my most anticipated games, and
Really?
we won't have to
Find
wait
someone?
too much
Okay,
longer as it releases in just a few weeks on February 13th.
Holy shit. Wait, February 13th is also the Mortuary Assistant night. Oh. We're gonna Hold on. I've got my brain is moving for the schedule. Brain is going for the schedule.
Indigo Park made a splash in 2023 when it
Okay, we haven't played Indigo Park as well, so we're gonna skip this for now. I don't want to spoil too much of that as well. But Indigo Park 1, I believe I do own. So in the future we're gonna play it. But Indigo Park 2, I don't want to. Just in case he talks about stuff that I don't know. End of Abyss. It looks like an ocean horror game.
Made by many
Maybe not.
ex-developers from
Oh.
Tarsier Studios,
Never
the
mind.
team behind Little Nightmares and Reanimal, End of Abyss is an isometric third-person twin-stick shooter set in a creepy science fiction hellscape. We take control of a lone engineer explorer called Kel
Oh, that looks-
as we battle hordes of mutants and robots within a monstrous underground complex. The game blends Metrovania-inspired exploration
Holy
with
shit.
intense combat and sci-fi horror vibes.
It's like Dead
and
Space
looks
Little Nightmares.
extremely promising and something quite different from many other games on the horror scene.
Yeah, it looks like Dead Space combined with Little Nightmares. I haven't heard of this either. That's crazy.
I'll definitely be keeping a keen eye on this one when it drops later this year.
Don't fret. I feel like I haven't heard of most of these games.
Don't Fret is a mascot horror game with a twist. Set within the dingy halls of an old music school, now overrun by nightmarish musically themed monsters, we step into the shoes of a living guitar named Fret, brought to life by a young boy who escapes into this nightmare world to hide from his abusive father figure.
Interesting
At
game.
least that's
What's
what
up,
I got
Banana God?
from my time playing the early demo version. The full game will no doubt explain the mysterious narrative in far more detail. Don't Fret seems inspired by many of the horror greats. BioShock, Silent Hill, and Alien Isolation to name but a few. It features music and voice acting from many prominent nerdcore artists, a unique art style, some genuinely awesome looking creature designs, and its puzzles are based around music and instruments.
I would
It's
fail
something
so
very
fast.
different and quite original, which is rare to see from the oversaturated mascot horror genre these days.
I would fail so fast. I know nothing about music. Oh, and this is a big one. We're going to be playing this one as soon as we possibly can.
It's been a year since we last stepped into the world of Poppy Playtime and did battle against legions of killer toys born from the horrifying human experimentation of the ominous Playtime company. Poppy Playtime
really?
Chapter 5,
I'm actually
subtitled Broken
really excited
Things,
for this one.
may well be the final entry in the episodic mascot horror narrative that first began way back in 2021. Very little has
What's
been
up, VPA?
revealed
Welcome.
about this upcoming chapter, with the story being kept under wraps. But it seems we will have to save Poppy from series villain the Prototype, all while exploring the darkest regions of a toy factory, uncovering the sinister secrets of playtime, and hopefully getting a satisfying conclusion to this morbid tale of toy-themed terror. I've always enjoyed Poppy Playtime. It's one of the most ambitious and even at times genuinely scary mascot horror games out there, and this new chapter is set to feature more head-scratching puzzles, fresh gameplay mechanics, and a handful of creepy new monsters to terrorize us on our journey. Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 launches on February 18th.
Like a scorpion tail, right? Oh, and this is mine. This is my most hyped game of 2026. For
Resident Evil Requiem is the 9th mainline installment in one of gaming's most beloved horror series.
We have watched this trailer on its own already, but I'm curious to see, because he's been spouting some facts that I don't know about already, so I'm curious to see.
In this latest entry, we finally return to the streets of Raccoon City, many years after it was nuked by Umbrella in an attempt to cover up the T-virus outbreak. As well as stepping into the shoes of a new protagonist, FBI agent Grace Ashcroft, players can also look forward to taking control of series favourite Leon S. Kennedy, as the two work together to get to the bottom of a string of murders orchestrated by a mysterious cult. Both characters feature unique gameplay, Grace's sections focusing on survival horror and stealth, while Leon's are more action-focused in design.
I think that's so perfect. Where I talked about it, I think when we did the initial trailer reaction, is they have so much that they have been able to learn from the past however many years of Resident Evils, and seeing how much people really liked the action pack of Resident Evil 4 and the horror of Resident Evil 7, they were able to combine it into one game. It's like the perfect game for a Resident Evil enjoyer. Like if this somehow lets me down, I would be surprised, but also I will throw my computer out the window. And I will run through that window as well.
The game can also be played from both first and third person perspectives. So whether you prefer the more classic over-the-shoulder gameplay seen in Resident Evil 4, or the more in-your-face perspective of Resident Evil Village, Requiem caters...
Chat, I thought about this. You'd open the closet and finally step inside. No. The backrooms don't get to claim me. No, the backrooms don't get to claim me if that fucks up. I think if I can swap back and forth between perspectives for this, for Leon, I would like to do third person, and then whenever we get to... I forget her name. Ashley? I don't remember her name. It's not Ashley because that's Resident Evil 4. Whatever the survival horror aspect is, then I go back to first person. I think that would be a really good way to play it. Grace Ashford. Okay, Ashley, it was not far from. Okay. Grace section's first person horror. Leon section's third person. That's a pretty good idea, I think.
It's for all players. As a huge fan of the Resident Evil series, I can't wait to return to Raccoon City when Requiem drops on February 27th. And with that, we come to the end of this rundown of horror games I'm most anticipating in 2026.
I don't think he has anything else to say, though.
There are, of course, many others, and some which remain unconfirmed as to when they will be launching, such as Bendy and the Ink Factory, Finding Frankie 2, Alien...
What? I thought somebody said Finding Frankie...
will be launching, such as Bendy and the Ink Factory, Finding Frankie 2...
What? I thought somebody said this game got scrapped. Somebody in chat... What?
Alien Isolation.
This one, I hope it doesn't drag on for 20 hours of repetitive gameplay. Because the concept they have is fucking peak. Let's tone it down a bit, though. Let's make that game and wrap it up a little bit quicker next time.
And the Silent Hill remake.
Yeah.
These games are most likely slated for 2027 or later, and so they didn't make the list, but will of course be games I cover as and when they do launch.
The rest of these games, actually, we'll keep letting them talk.
What are you most looking forward to horror game-wise this year?
Resident Evil died!
Let me know your most wanted in the comments.
Okay, I mean, obviously, I've explained what I'm looking forward to, right? But Poppy Playtime is pretty close. Poppy Playtime is my first real big mascot horror. Although I've played FNAF more, Poppy Playtime is like the big one that I've played, and then one of the first mascot hordes that I really came to enjoy. So I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot coming on. So there's a lot of cool concepts. But like you guys mentioned, it kind of comes down to the bugs. If some of this stuff's kind of buggy, they rush some of these concepts, they could be really bad. But as for what the actual games are, they can be peak. 2026 is going to be a great year. I don't know much about Indigo Park, but hey, in the future we'll play